Good morning and welcome back. I'm heading off with the panniers to throw them over the Classic 500 because we're going to take a tip from the gentleman at the coffee shop from the last video who told us that there's a beautiful area around about an hour and a half from where we're staying. So packing up the Classic 500, I'll put the quad lock on as well, and then we're going to leave just before 12 o'clock. You may wonder why I'm walking, because our apartment's actually down there. But I started the Classic 500 this morning to go for breakfast with Monica, head off on a lovely little 5-minute ride. And it's so loud. The Balinese just love their aftermarket exhausts and decatting the bikes and things like that. And the Classic 500 is so ludicrously loud it sounds like thunder. And the owner of this development, who lives up there on the balcony, Monica could see her running outside to find us firing up the Classic 500, and it wouldn't start properly, so I was having to semi keep the accelerator on. It sounded like thunder was going off, there were explosions going all over the place, so I thought, no, that's it. I can't keep it there anymore. So we spoke to reception. We've now parked it here, right at the entrance. I don't like loud pipes. It's annoying. And then we went to the restaurant this morning for breakfast. Pull up outside the restaurant, ridiculously loud noise, and everyone looking over wondering what's going on. I just want quiet, discreet pipes, but nothing will take away from the fact that I very, very deeply love this bike. Journey update. Monica, this may shock you, we're under halfway.
Okay.
It feels like we've travelled up a mountain or something. It takes so long to get out of the touristy areas because there are no big roads. We've been travelling for 1 hour, well, according to Google Maps, 1 hour 10 minutes, although I know that we've actually been travelling, this will shock you, 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. We've still got, according to Google Maps, 1 hour 15. In reality, I think that'll be another 2 hours or so. We're going to try our best to get to the very north of the island. Royal Enfield's been fine, but the speedo doesn't work. The speedo is steamed up, getting a lot of false negatives as well, which is embarrassing when you take off from the traffic lights, rev it up hard, and you don't move at all, then you get tooted. But apart from that, a joy, although I've lost about 15% of my hearing because the pipes are so loud. Monica, comfy on the back?
Yeah, very comfortable.
Good.
Okay, actually.
Okay,
not too
yeah.
comfortable,
I have to say, for me, it is gloriously comfortable, this bike. I could sit here for 8 hours a day, no issue. I love this old school look with the springs underneath it. And there's one other thing I want to show, because for me, this is one of the most beautiful bikes. Can you see how, I think the pannier may get in the way, but see how the tyre and the wheel just hugs the wheel arch so beautifully. It's just so perfectly in proportion. These have been amazing. XLMOTO, what would you call them? I think you call them saddlebags. On sale, they're about £65 from XLMOTO. I put these in my luggage. They pack pretty much completely flat, and it's just a very good way to take luggage around. So that's a really good portable solution. But we got to get going. We've still got a long way to go. The traffic's pretty much ended now, which is nice, but I'm just waiting for those beautiful open winding roads.
And we need to put our raincoats on.
Oh, yeah, good point. We've stopped. Monica said, let's bring raincoats. I said, not needed. But it's definitely needed. We've been traveling for 4 hours now. We're 40 minutes away. It never ends, but it's getting more and more interesting. We've passed a gigantic amount of monkeys just happily sitting on the side of the road, which are the first monkeys we've seen in Bali. We've pulled over at, actually, don't know if you can make it out, but at the edge of what's quite a new road, which is unusual for Bali. Lovely road. We've also passed market stalls just on the side of the road. Dozens and dozens of market stalls, each selling what looks like almost exactly the same thing. Loads of beautifully coloured spices. But every so often in the market stalls, there are 2, 3 or 4 gigantic bats, about that tall, just hanging from the top of each market stall. I've never seen anything like it. Monica was Googling it as we were riding along. Apparently they're Balinese bats. They're, I think, indigenous to Bali, and they are incredibly friendly. They'll happily just come and sit on your shoulder. A bat genuinely that big, genuinely. It's amazing. Also, you may have noticed, I think we picked it up on the Insta360. we went through what looked like a predominantly Muslim town. Lots of mosques and lots of people in the Muslim gear, which is really interesting because Bali is a vast, vast majority Hindu country. I think something like 85% is a specific version of Hinduism here in Bali. So to see a predominantly, or what looked like a predominantly Muslim town is very interesting. And they were all selling beautiful looking, colourful spices. Anyway, we're nearly there. It's still warm. We've got about 2 hours of daylight left. Feels like an adventure though today. Oh, loving every second. It's almost a bit daunting because obviously we haven't seen any genuine big size motorways in Bali. I don't know if they exist. So Monica and I both know that we have to go back the exact way we've come. And that will be, it will be 4 hours.
This way, yeah.
Yeah, that way. It will be 4 hours and it will be almost entirely at night. Got to mentally prepare because it will be a serious mission to get home from here. We made it to the north coast of Bali. You know, you never know, honestly, you never know exactly what you're going to expect. I didn't know if we were going to get unbelievable sandy beaches with turquoise water or not. We were stuck for 20 minutes in this maddening housing estate where we were going along paths that Monica promised were proper roads, but they got smaller and smaller until honestly the Royal Enfield couldn't fit. That was an interesting experience, but I feel shattered. We've been going for 4 hours and 30 minutes, 4.5 hours. Desperate for food. I think there are 2 warungs over there, and they are in essence family-run restaurants, just usually a husband-wife team. So we'll go and see if we can find a bite to eat. And then a desperate trip all the way back across the island begins. But this is at least part of the north coast of Bali. A lot of the beaches in the sea here are volcanic, so it's black sand. So I don't know if you will actually get any white sand here.
Looks like the rain is coming.
Yes, it does also look like the rain's coming. Excuse my dishevelled appearance. This was really difficult, trying to understand what to eat because I'm one of these really annoying vegetarians, so I am quite picky. And I was going purely based on pictures and then Google translating. I managed to find this. This is mie goreng,
What's that?
Mia goreng.
Mia goreng.
I think
okay.
they've got nasi goreng, loads of other stuff. It's basically noodles, there's an egg on top I didn't know about, but perfect, and a bit of sauce. To the best of my knowledge, this was about £1.20. It's nice. It's actually, we usually pick these places that, more on Google. So you go to the places usually where they have the English translation. So it's the first time we've been somewhere where they've got no translation and no one speaks a word of English. So it's quite an interesting experience. But everyone, as is always the case in Indonesia, oh, lovely. Okay. This is, I can't believe it, this is my first goreng here in Bali. It's delicious.
Gorgeable.
It's gorgeable. Okay, we'll gorge this down. Monica's then found another restaurant that she'd like to go to, possibly with good views of a lake. So we'll try and make it there. I don't know if it'll be pitch black, but we'll take you along with that as well. It's also quite hard eating this when it's so warm. I'm used to air-conditioned restaurants. Today was an experience. 8.5 hours in the saddle, 230 kilometers covered, which I know is quite shocking, but the roads are just 50-60% of the time you're doing about 20 miles an hour. Although on the way back, just beautiful, open, winding country lanes could do about 40 miles an hour, just bend to bend. But then the rain came, it was cold, it was wet, the fog closed in. It was unpleasant going back, seriously unpleasant, but really, really nice day in general. Monica said she was in complete agony probably for the last 3 hours or so. For me, the Classic 500 was extremely comfortable, but comparing it to the Classic 350, it must be one of the biggest jumps from one model to the successor that there has ever been in the history of motorbikes, because the Classic 350, yes, it may have a little bit less character, a bit less of a thump and a thud, and it doesn't quite feel like a 70-year-old bike, but in every other respect, the Classic 350 is so much better. The build quality, just being able to live with it on a daily basis, it's so much more of a livable bike. But if you want character, if you want to feel like you're riding a bike from 70 years ago, but with just enough reliability, because it was starting to miss a few beats by the end, to be completely honest, then that Classic 500 is a very special bike. Right, we'll wrap it up there. It's 11:30 now. We left at about 11:30 in the morning. It's been a gigantic day. Thanks so much everyone for coming along. I've got no idea if this footage is interesting or completely atrocious, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.